So I'd like to now talk about the construction of law provision of the Charter of Health Freedom, because many of you might not understand what it means or why it's there. And it's there to make it very clear that the Charter of Health Freedom is not just an ordinary law, that it's meant to apply to all of the other federal laws. Because what happens is if you have two or more laws that overlap and cover the same area, courts are called on to try and decide, well, which one has precedence over the other one? And there's a whole set of rules that courts employ. But we've drafted this construction of law section to make it very clear that the Charter of Health Freedom will take priority over all other federal acts unless those other acts specifically exempt themselves from the application of the Charter. And the purpose there is when we've got a Charter of Health Freedom which is declaring fundamental rights and freedoms that the courts say that we enjoy, and in fact will term them as constitutionally protected rights, there's no point just passing it and then having it drafted in such a way that, you know, any little law can come along and take precedence. That would really defeat the purpose of protecting our rights. Now, another thing that this construction of law section does is it addresses treaties and international agreements. There's a lot of concern in the natural health community about treaties like Codex and other international agreements being imposed on our industry within Canada and basically making it so that treatment options are taken away from us. We've drafted this in such a way that the federal government can still do that, but they actually have to, in Parliament, pass an act allowing a treaty or other international agreement to override the Charter of Health Freedom. And in that way, at least as citizens of Canada, we know that they're doing it. It's debated in Parliament. We have the opportunity to have input, which you could contrast against Bill C-51, which was a bill that was working its way through Parliament before the last election, was going to amend the Food and Drug Act so that they could make treaties or international agreements law in Canada by simple regulation. And a regulation is not debated in Parliament. We don't have the option of having the input and watching and making sure that international law is not imposed on us in a way that is going to affect our treatment options. So that's why we've drafted those sections in that way.